Okay. I put my glasses on now. I can actually read it instead of just pretend. So welcome to CPS. There's people doing all sorts of things. I don't know if anybody bought anything from the buy and sell, but there's a few heads down there and a bit of gear, so that's a good start. We had a useful committee meeting, which we haven't had for a while, so we haven't had one for a while, so that's what's been happening. I'm going to start with a couple of notices, and then we're going to get Paul to talk, and then John following that. So the first notice I want to talk about is the photosynthesis exhibition, which starts this week. I don't know if anybody knows or has seen the fact that photosynthesis, who was sort of well, we're all kind of pseudo members of. We've got a real good deal with them. You can go and join photosynthesis easily, but they've just moved into a new building. So they have their own building, and it's probably about the size of this whole hall, maybe a little bit bigger, probably through to the back of the next room down by the kitchen. And in that, they have three things effectively. They have a studio space, which is in the back, which they're lining at the moment. They've got pull down backgrounds, lots of lights all around the place on light stands, and a whole really good lighting system which you can use once you've been sort of approved and trained and stuff at a super sharp price. So if you want to use a lighting setup, that's there. They also have a dark room. I went in and had a look at it the other day, and Stuart very excitedly showed me through their light trap entrance. So you've got to walk through this zigzag system that doesn't let light out or light in or whatever the hell it is. So the dark room is moved up a notch and is really good. So again, if you have always wanted to but never tried it, go along and have a go at printing some black and white pictures. So that's something we can sort of certainly involve on. And the third bit is an exhibition space. So they've got another kind of a lounge area, but it's all set up for exhibitions. So they've got an exhibition opening. Their opening exhibition starts this weekend, Saturday the 21st at 1 p.m. And it's going to start up there, and it's at the places at 6 Battersea Street. So I will put that on Facebook tomorrow, just so everybody can see it. It'll be cool. Don't necessarily have to go to the opening night, but that's when or opening afternoon. It's on for 3 weeks, I think. So, okay. The next thing I want to talk about is car parks. For a start, I just want to say a huge thank you to Nicola, who has been negotiating and wheeling and dealing to the point that she could automatically get a job with Foreign Affairs now, and she would have the Chinese working out of Winston's hand doing exactly what they said. So well done. So the net result of that is we have car parks available over the road again, but we need to be a bit more specific about what actual park we use. So available to us is the White Fox parks. So if it's got White Fox written on it, you can use it, and Forsyth Bar parks. Those are the only ones that we can use. There are other ones there. You specifically not to use the Lane Neve parks because they potentially use them through, when we're here. The other thing that we need to make a point of, we've kind of said 6:30 on, but sometimes a bit earlier, and that everybody's kind of okay with that. But where the problem came last time was when we just automatically got so used to using them, didn't really think about the rules, and then went to use them when we had final night, which was a different time, or we had something which is not on a Wednesday night. When that situation happens, anything other than a club meeting, don't use them, because we basically don't want to wreck this because it's a good deal. Is everybody comfortable with that? There are a couple of car parks around the back which we can use sometimes, so just, within those two, we should be okay. Just while I'm in notice mode, the only other thing is PI number 2 hand-in is next week. So if you're ready for PI number 2, remember that is next week. The next thing I want to pass on to is I talked last week about the photographing the Jaguar convention. So Paul's here to tell us all about it, what's involved and how it works, and get the people to sign up. So if you're ready to sign up to come and go and photograph some old cars, over to Paul.
So do you all like old cars? Yeah. Well, there was a PowerPoint there, just on the card. So this came about a couple of months ago. We did a shoot for the Jaguar Car Club at the show in Opawa. That was really nice, really good fun. We put up some photos on their website, and they put some photos in the newsletter, and the Wellington Club picked up on it, and the Auckland Club picked up on it and put their photos in their newsletters as well. So we've got a good response from that. They're now organising the inaugural Avid Classic Car Show in March, which is it's a copy of one which has been done in Auckland, and it's covering only European and British car makes. So we've got Lamborghini, Jaguar, Rolls-Royce, Ferrari, all sorts of other cars, yeah, but no American cars. So this is going to be a big event. He started off saying there are going to be 300 cars, and then later on he said, oh, there could be about 500 cars. Now it's over 700 cars that are going to be at the show at Wigram Park. So it's open from 10 to 3 p.m, but we can get in earlier while the cars are being positioned, and so they'll be moving. After 10 o'clock, the cars won't move at all. They'll just be sitting there on display, so we can get in and get some moving and get them against a nice background. What they're looking for is for us to provide photographic services. So to photograph the cars and the people and the whole scene and whatever we want. We don't actually have a shot list or anything like that, but they just want some nice images for their newsletter. So it's Saturday, 7th of March, which is a couple of weekends away. We need about 5 photographers, I think, to cover it off. But we can probably do more if we want to. I don't want to do it all by myself. By the way, we don't have to photograph all 700 cars. We can just photograph the ones we want to photograph. One. So they're expecting digital images, not raw images or anything like that, just JPEGs. We'll provide online viewing access for exhibitors and public, so we'll load some low resolution files onto the web so that the public and exhibitors can look at those photos, and they can order them, order prints or do high resolution copies, and you'll get paid for those. It's a volunteer operation, so nobody's getting paid. The wardens are all volunteers, all the committee are all volunteers, but they've got sponsorship from quite a few organisations, including the City Council. So it's going to be quite a major event. You retain the copyright. They don't own the photos, so you retain the copyright and the right to use them. So you can use them as competition photos if you want, and you can get as creative as you want to get. You don't have to stay all the time. You can just go when you want and stay for a couple of hours and then head off again. You all get name badges and identity cards, and we're hoping to get some high-vis vests, mainly for the first part of where the cars are moving around. What's it for me? I mean, you. It's going to be an exciting event. It's going to be pretty high profile. There's 700 cars there. It's free entry to the public, so that means there's going to be quite a few people going along. Even the Jaguar Car Club there, was lots of people out there watching the cars. Yeah. Experience and learnings about how to shoot cars and how to shoot events. I've done a few events and I can pass on some tips. We do have to work as a team though to expect them to behave in a proper way and deal with releases and stuff like that, which will take you through. You build a portfolio, and one good thing is the Jaguar event led on to another invitation to do another event, which I turned down, but that was a paid gig. And it's led on to this opportunity as well. So if you get some experience, you can always put your name forward for another event. You get access to the cars. You get access to the cars. People, because you're an official photographer and you've got to be able to say you are, they'll be more cooperative with you and should get better people taking photos. And you can obviously get access to the cars early on and before the crowd build up. The photos, when they get published, will be attributed to you. They won't publish all photos, but probably about 40 or 50 images are used. And you've got potential sales off the website. I wouldn't bank on that, but that's always an opportunity. And get competition entries. And there's no cost to go in there, and there's free parking for the photographers. CPS gets publicity out of it. I mentioned in the newsletter and logo on the newsletter. And we also get a donation from the organisers. Quite significant. So first action is to register with me. I need to organise so know they're coming along. So then we'll hold a briefing. We'll go through the schedule and logistics, the health and safety rules, permission, copyright, releases and behaviour. And tips for car photography. So I'll take together a few ideas and tips maybe for the photo of the car. Okay. And then just got a few photos. So the Jaguar session. So the photograph details. These cars are in great condition. It's actually the steam show. Okay. So are you keen? Who's gonna register? Cool. I've got it up there. So I'll send out a Facebook posting or an email and just to confirm that registrations. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, like just to confirm, there'll be a thing on Facebook for those in particular who are watching this on live stream who go, oh, I want to be in on that. I wish I was there tonight to put my hand up. You'll be able to email Paul and do that. I just want to make a couple of comments about what's happened with this. We got an email last year from Richard Waugh, who's the guy that came down from Auckland that organised the JAG thing, and that and 2 or 3 people went along, and then some of them presented pictures with him, and he came back and offered us this thing. Effectively, I passed it to Paul, who's picked it up and run with it. At the committee level, we've done nothing. Paul's done everything. So awesome work, Paul. Thank you very much for what you've done. And I just really want to recommend the quality of that Paul's put into the agreement. and the scope of work and everything else like that is really professional and really good. So this is a super opportunity to get involved in a high quality event photography experience. So make the most of it. Send Paul an email and get your name on the queue. Okay, the rest of the evening is going to be, as we discussed, is normally. So John's going to expand on his sessions from the walkabouts that are normally run at a 7 o'clock session. The point of having it at 8 so as people, particularly on the live stream, get to see it. First of all, I would like a show of hands for those who went to the walkabout with John the other day. Good number. Okay, that's cool. So the whole idea with it, when it comes to the showcases of these, is to get involved in the conversation. So be prepared to push yourself forward and tell us all about it. When? Just waiting for some tech stuff, I think. You ready to go? You ready? Okay. John.
No, sorry, I forgot to turn it on. So I think there's about 20. Yep. And then after that, I want to talk about how we handle things going forward. I want to formalise it a little bit more so that we have more focus on what we're going to try and improve during the year using the walkabout. Now, is the author here for this? Don't? Oh. Yep.
Is this one? It's working.
So if the author can talk about the image, and then if anyone else wants to comment, I want it to be a relaxed dialogue about it. So the main point, of course, is that the photograph should be about something, not just a record shot of something, and hopefully that it evokes a feeling or a mood.
I took the whole bridge in that photo, and then I thought, what's really of interest in it? And so I had a friend who guided me, and so I zoomed into the end, and we saw the bird there and the three little parts of the end of the bridge, and cut right back on the pillars.
So what sort of feeling did you have about it?
Well, it was quite strong,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yes.
Yep.
And this is also just a part of what we saw on the beach. And the birds are on the circles and the lines, and we had to tone down the sea and the reflection of the sky, and they're all looking forward to going for a swim. What have I called it? The pairing. Yeah, the pair.
Seagulls.
Yes,
All right.
SEE.
Yeah. Anyone else like to comment? Don't be shy. One of the interesting things about this, I mean, the main thing is that it's a sea front, waterfront image, is that you did a brilliant job of placing the birds on the lines all the way around. But isn't it interesting how a wavering line links things up and just creates more of a focus on what's there. They would have been partly lost otherwise. So it was well seen. That's what I mean about noticing, is that I've obviously got your attention partly because of that. So well done. Excellent.
Maxine? Not here?
Right. Is the author here? Right. Can you go back then? Oh, it's got the names up there, is it? I didn't look closely enough. So one more. We skip through. So get back to Diana and then come forward one.
Yeah, go there.
Great. Excellent. Okay. So who would like to comment on this? We're not judging it, we're just looking at what someone's obviously trying to achieve and things that we like about it and things that maybe could be improved.
I like that she's captured the face that somebody's trying.
Right.
I would suggest that it might need to be top, bottom, and maybe try and get rid of people, because it looks really more like about the top form meaning and the bottom myself.
So the top you notice more than the bottom initially.
I like the colour.
Yeah.
You know, it's soft, really soft, but the people on the left hand side don't really
Yeah.
and one seaweed to me,
Yeah.
distraction, I think distracted.
Yep. So the main thing, what's the main thing about this image?
The pair,
The,
the pillar and the,
someone say light?
yeah.
Yeah.
it's overexposed.
The next book about's on light, and I've got some notes about that. And I've just realised, I've always known, of course, if there's no light, there's no photo, but just how powerful light is. And the whole aspect of this image, irrespective of subject, is the light. So what does high key light do?
Change the colours of the pastel.
Yes. There's hardly any contrast whatsoever in a high key. Even though you've got warm colour at the top and a cool one at the bottom, they are not dominant. You know, if they were rich with an exposure around about the middle, we would be talking right now about colour. But this is so soft, it is very relaxing, very pleasant, and very subtle. And if you're looking for those sort of characteristics, then high key is the way to go. And it's done brilliantly, yeah. Okay, so the next one, thanks. Right, same story. Yeah, yeah. So what is high key doing here?
One thing it's doing is making the people anonymous.
Yes, yeah, very much so. That's what's handy about going high key in street photography. Yep. Sorry? Yes. Yep. Yes. Yes. It is. No, exactly. And what's so interesting about that feeling of, in terms of structure, there's a sense of depth and movement, but going high key makes it very, very flat. So it tends, in some ways, it brings those people closer to the viewer because it's so flat. There's no detail in the high the brighter parts. So, and can also, it's a good way to get when you do minimal stuff, what do we call it? The space? Negative space. My old brain works slowly these days.
Can recognise John and Richard.
People who know them, yes, yeah. So that's something that I quite like about high key, is you can create negative space where in the real world it's not actually totally negative. It's obviously less detailed. So you can, even although that's not at all high contrast, it's very low in that respect because it's high key. The railing on the front here is quite, it's a little more defined as well. So that takes the eye all the way down the end, and then you do the return trip coming back.
The author is online has told me what their intention is, if I want to read it out.
All right, oh great.
So they've said, I took this to show the domination of light and the pier combined, the pillar and the graffiti to combine to give a vaguely sinister feel. That is the one with the post as the dominant feature.
Yeah, great. I didn't get it too wrong. No, always tell me. I didn't realise.
I didn't realise it was one.
Right, thank you. All right, next one. Right. So comments here. I'm not extracting teeth. It's not going to hurt.
He hasn't posted anything yet. I'll let you know.
All right. But no online comment written. Okay. All right. So. Right. Right. Okay. So for me, the whole issue really in that venue is vastness, isn't it? We were talking about it there on the day. And so that gets, given it's a wide shot, you get that expanse from the sea to the land. And of course, the strong geometric patterns with the sea there, and particularly the edges to that. So there's a lot of edges going all the way back, and a very convenient cloud that, although fairly grey, has a soft, rounded feel to it to me. And of course, the scale is another thing that's been used. So having people distant so that we only recognise them as people rather than as particular characteristics.
They've put on here that a feeling of space and joy of surfing.
Yeah. Yeah, the space comes across very well. Next one. Notice the onshore breeze. So that it's a nice subtle thing that's been noticed, is just how the feathers above the wing are getting blown up, and to give a little detail. So noticing doesn't have to be big. It can be very subtle, and of course the small size or scale of the feather getting blown up compared with the bird looking fairly solid straight on, gives a really good contrast. Any comments?
I like the way the bird is on the right-hand side, and it's sort of like gives room for the wind to blow the feathers. Just seems to work.
Yeah. Yep.
Someone said online, a feeling of a breezy day.
Thank you. Very good. Okay, next one.
That was in here.
No, okay. Right, someone else start off the conversation.
Big sense of scale there. Big sense of scale.
Yeah,
Tiny people at the end.
yeah, very much so. It's very well done. It's an adult and child, I think, isn't it? And it gets the way, the positioning of that and the contrast with the foreground. It's incredible that we actually go all the way down there to have a look at that. Yep. So how's that achieved? It's achieved by having the board, the texture of the boards in the foreground. That means that anchors the front of the view that we want to take. And then, of course, the ropes take us in a bouncing way down to the far end, to the people there. Would you crop a bit off the top, which puts more emphasis on those two people, but doesn't have the lightness of the cloud? I have no idea. But if it was mine, I'd be playing around with it to see which way I'd go. So that, sorry, I have got a hearing aid, but you were talking about that second post in, were you? Yeah. Yeah, if that, I'd missed that, but if that had just been a little bit above or a little bit below, it would have annoyed us, wouldn't it? But it's perfectly placed, very well done. And I was going to say ironically, but that's unfair. The same on that second one down on the right as well. That's very, very close to the horizon. Okay, the next one. Right. So does this work as well as the other one? Yeah. So, yeah, so it's still interesting, but doesn't have the feeling that the other one had. If this was mine, I would have a play with it. I don't know whether it would work or not, where the focus is on the front end of the image, the foreground, because with that being uneven, the planks going across being uneven, and then having the curves to it, there might be a geometric pattern that would, I don't know without trying it, but because I'm not sure that the sky contributes to the foreground or not. But so what I'm really saying is that there's no clear cut right or wrong to any of these images, but some can be made more interesting than others if you decide what the main thing is here. I'm not sure what the main thing in this image is, whereas I absolutely knew it in the other.
I think it creates a sense of curiosity on what's on the other side.
What's on the other side?
So
yeah.
It lets your imagination feel.
Yeah. So it's leaving an opportunity for us to put a projection of what might be there. Yeah, thank you. Great. Next one. Okay. So just, yeah, sorry.
The sun was so bright that day that I just wanted to try to do a few silhouettes. I've not done them before, so I wanted to try something new, and somebody walking their dog along the beach seemed to be a nice, easy one to try to start with.
Absolutely, yeah. Have you made that black and white, or is it just the high contrast?
No, I have made it that black and white.
Yeah, yeah. So that suits it really
Yeah.
well, yeah.
It
yeah.
didn't look right in colour.
Mm. So again, I'm sorry I'm referring to next week, but so we've now got an exact opposite to those early images that were a high key. So what do you notice? You know, I like how you've positioned the person there, and we are imagining, you know, the dog's not actually playing ball, you know, it's looking the other way. So man and dog aren't exactly in sync is the story to me there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, which I like.
Which is why I chose that one. I had several of them.
Yeah, but the big thing with dark contrast, silhouette and so on is that it leaves a huge amount to the imagination. We really know very little about that person other than that they've got a sun hat on. So it means that we can imagine all kinds of things about it. And of course, you get all the details. So unlike those very high key ones, the sea didn't look quite as angry as it does here. I don't mean seriously angry, but so there's a lot of energy in the top of the image. And that contrasts for me with someone casually walking along, contented with their dog going for a walk. Any other comments?
I like the shadow of the reflection in the water in the front.
Yeah.
And I also like the fact that you've caught it with the right foot off the ground and the dog's foot off the ground at the same time, even though they're not separated, they're both off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm wondering what a crop would like, either at the bottom, like cropping off the reflection, or cropping off the bottom.
Yeah. It has potential to experiment with that, very much so.
I did experiment with the crop because that was taken from quite a long way away. And that was the crop I liked best.
Yeah, good on you. Yeah. 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 Cropping for me is a creative exercise.
Yeah, it is.
Because it shifts the viewer's attention. And quite often something will come up on the screen. I think, oh, that needs to be cropped at the top. And I do it and realise it's totally thrown what I was trying to capture. Other times it works well. Yep, good. Next one. This is your next one.
Yeah, like I said, the sun was so bright and it was just made the sea look like it was just covered in glitter or something. So I just wanted to try and capture something of that. The sun was coming from the right and it was just, the sea just looked, I'm not quite sure what the right word is, sorry. But I wanted to capture what the contrast of that brightness and was coming off the ocean and the darkness of the pier itself.
So for me, the sparkle that you've captured in the sea gives it life, in contrast to the very heavy concrete pillar that's there and so on. So it's that contrast which, if you can get that dynamic in an image, and whatever the contrast is, always adds another dynamic to it. Yeah. So, and what I like about it is that you've got you're almost as high as the first walkout bit there. So that sort of balances, gives the emphasis up around about that point. Any other comments?
I think it works really well.
Yep.
Could even be a little bit more contrast.
Yeah, not sure.
I mean, I
But-
looked at it with more contrast, but I didn't want to go overboard because, like I say, I haven't done much in the way of silhouettes before, so I was just
Yeah,
being cautious.
you're going very well. Should do quite a lot more of it, I think. Yeah, it's well done. Yeah. So, and it's good seeing you doing a portrait rather than landscape as well. I mean, I know you couldn't do any other than with that subject matter, but a lot of people don't turn their camera on its side enough, I believe.
I get home with
yeah.
with my card and I plug it into my and then I go through it and I'm like, oh, bugger, I have to turn at least half of it.
Right. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, and there's a rope or string that goes up to the top. You may not see that back there, John. Yeah, yeah.
It looks like you've got a little bit of fluff on your sensor there, Patrick.
No, there was people fishing from the pier all
No,
over.
I can see the fishing line, but there's a.
Yeah.
I think that was just a cloud.
No. Anyway, have a closer look at that. Yeah. All right, the next one. Mm.
Thank you. This wasn't taken on the Sunday. In the end, I wasn't very happy with the things I had taken on the Sunday, but now looking back at what's come up, I will revisit them. This was taken on Saturday when I went down to the coast to coast,
Right.
but it was at New Brighton. And originally I saw this razor cutting barbed wire thing, and I framed it up like the Olympics. But in actual fact, when I looked at it again on the camera, it looked really boring. So I did what John told us, and I looked again. And as I have a wee thing with rust, the rusty colour spoke to me, and the rust in the razor spoke to me. So I lowered the camera down and took a shot. So, and I like the kind of that complementary colour of the orangey blues. But I'm open for suggestions into making it better. Thank you.
Right. Any other comments?
I think it's very suggestive.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think it works for many ways for me. As you say about the colour, there's no disputing that. They work brilliantly together. The contrast between the sky and the fairly soft surface on the timber with the steel is a contrast, and we like contrast. It makes things interesting. Obviously, the dangerous aspect of barbed wire and the razor wire or whatever it's called there is strong. But you've been careful and you say you've dropped the camera down a bit, but you didn't just do that, did you? You made sure that I'm sure you made sure that the shadow of the barbed wire is adjacent to the point of the razor. If that had had a tiny gap there, it would have irritated us a bit. But,
I think actually it was just good luck.
all right, right. Well, of course, we only get good luck if we hit the shutter. So, yeah, it's like in baseball, you only hit a round, whatever you call it, as long as you attempt to hit the ball, yeah. So well done. And that, in fact, introduces two curves. Are soft generally, but this is on something that's not soft. So it's that nice contrast again, which always keeps our attention. So the next one.
This was also taken on Saturday, and it was the clouds that caught my attention first.
Yeah.
And then I just like the way the people, you've got someone just sitting there relaxing. I'm wondering though if he's a wee bit too close to the corner, to the side. Then we've got someone who's just leisurely wandering, and then we have sort of a rushing woman syndrome who's probably exercising or running late. Originally too, I had one with the lamp at the end, but I didn't like that. It just sort of stopped everyone in your tracks, but maybe it was better because it would bring you back into the middle of the picture. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but I actually quite liked just the one pole.
Right.
True.
Okay. So for me, I love that the person on the left-hand side is sitting down. It feels a little bit heavier there, and gives a weight on the left-hand side facing that way. You've positioned the tower very, very well so that you don't see the left-hand side of it, but you see the curve to the right. And that curve is very close to the vertical line above it. It has all the characteristics of your type of photography. And then, of course, the spacing of the three, where you've got the person sitting down is a bigger build and is sitting down, so it looks heavier, and that's counterbalanced by the two that are moving who look lighter. But I'm doing the talking all the time, so next.
Looks to me like the guy on left has got the cloud coming out of his head.
Yeah. So, very good.
I just like the different shapes and the shadows, really.
It's a very simple statement. I just liked it. I love that. You were drawn to it, obviously, and have captured those shapes very well at the angle you've done it, so that the shadow of the little spike at the top is down at the bottom, slightly left-hand side. So that leads the line into it. No, it's beautifully captured that. I love it. Mm. Yeah, it'd be well worth trying that, because your eye is drawn to the back a little bit, and if that was in monochrome, you wouldn't be drawn quite so much to it because it would be part of the overall picture. Yeah, good comment.
I've taken a picture of that same thing, but with the sun shining right through it, and it made it very yellow. So I warmed up all the background to get away from the background and the distraction.
So now you're suggesting the opposite.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like the picture.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
But it might be different.
Yep. Okay, next one.
Well, this was just a piece of interesting seaweed that I saw on the sand I know there are a lot of sort of footprints around it, but I just thought the seaweed was quite an interesting shape.
Right. Was there a particular thing about the shape that got your attention?
All the different curves and that with it, I
Yeah.
think. And then the spindly little bits at the top.
Yeah. So for me, taking it from the angle you did was a good move, because you've got the heavier, flatter, wider bits of kelp near the foreground, and then it goes to the spindly bits further out. So you've sensed that, I'm sure, either intentionally or intuitively. And so that's very good. Next one. Not here. Okay. All right. Right. Someone else comment.
A little bit of solitude.
Sorry?
A feeling of solitude.
Yeah, oh, very much so. Yes. Yep.
Feeling of journey.
Sorry?
A feeling of journey.
Yes.
The two tyre tracks there, and then there's other tyre tracks up there or something. Someone's done something up there.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Do you like the sea being in the top left-hand corner or not?
It gives you a sense of place.
Yeah.
I get distracted, but I keep on coming back and forth.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know me, I would have done it in black and white, but I do like the warmer colour that they've got in the sand there. It makes it a bit more friendly, a bit more beachy, slightly more summery, do you think? Yeah. What about the line going through the body there? Would it be ideal to have waited longer and not had that, or has that worked well?
I think it works because it's like she's following the path.
Yeah. It strengthens the concept of direction, of moving, being on a journey. So I like that. I think it would have been plainer not to have been there, which would work as well. But no, well done. Yep. Next.
Oh, wow.
I'm still trying to work out what it is. So he's achieved, of course, what we all want, and that is someone continuing to look at it, isn't he? But he may have confused us, yeah. I'm sure he's got tongue-in-cheek over that one.
What was it called?
What's it called?
Photogs at work. Photogs at work, yeah.
Right, yeah. Very good. Next one. All right.
I generally like buildings and sort of things. So I noticed an interesting pathway is on the ground level, and the top one will be like on the staircase, and the middle one will be towards the pier. So I just I wait for probably about 10 minutes or so, just to wait to see if anyone will pass by on the ground level and the top level.
Yeah.
So I just took a few test shot, and then the subject just came in. So yeah, this is the image.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I like how you start at the bottom, then there's some people in the middle, and someone at the top, and then there's that pole. It sort of just takes you on a journey.
Very much so, yeah.
I think it would be improved by the cropping the all out of the left. So just the
Cropping the,
all out of the left.
yeah, oh yeah, the pole, yes, agree, yes,
You think?
yeah,
Because I like the fact that it appears that it's the start of the stairway.
yeah,
And that's sort of like giving you a zigzag journey as well.
yeah,
That works for me.
yeah. For me, it would be a little bit cleaner with that cropped in the left, and the whole movement of it is an upward going one. You don't need anything to bring you back down, I don't think. Quite often you do, but so the sort of slightly deeper aspect of it for me that I like is that the three layers, that there's detail for the person on the ground. Because the next level up is further away, we see the shapes, we know roughly that it's adults and kids, but we don't concentrate on them closely. And then the very top, it's only a suggestion of people because of the glass. So it's a study of people in society for me, which I think is very well achieved, yeah, very well done. Judges may not pick that up, but I think discerning people looking at it will.
I'm also seeing how the hole in the concrete there, that the curve of the hair fillet sort of reflects that curve of
Yeah.
the hole in the concrete.
Yeah,
Seems to work
yeah.
for me as well.
Absolutely.
It just seems
Yeah.
to meld together.
Yeah, great image. Next one.
You're only waiting for the right moment. You're only waiting for the right moment to take it.
Yes, exactly. Good example of patience. Yeah. Okay.
This is after the coffee break, so I decided to stay on for another like half an hour.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
So I walked out to the pier again and saw like
Yeah.
the sand scraper almost completing his work, and then I noticed a guy with a hat, like looking at people drawing a hat. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah.
So, anyone else on this? Yeah. So there's a lot to it, isn't it? There's the strength of the hat. That's the main thing. Everything has to relate to that or it wouldn't work. As soon as you put something very dominant in there, you don't want anything else to be detracting from it. So that circle is anchored with the person's arm and elbow. That links it down onto the whatever that railing or whatever it is there. And then your eye comes up, well, one way or the other, going from the hat and that curve all the way around to the other side. When you're down in that bottom corner, you see the person walking with the stick, and it leads you down, of course, to the face, and those two eyes obviously have a shell there that's making them so bright that works brilliantly. How do the two people up the top fit in?
I thought of cropping it out, but just decided to leave it for comments.
I think that's really important. They edit the whole thing. I might take it out, flatten the whole thing out quite a lot.
Yeah, that was certainly my reaction, but I was keen to hear how other people.
It's like it's an echo of what's happening down there with the big picture.
Exactly.
It's the beginning of a new one.
Yeah, they're drawing on the sand as well. And there's brilliant work down here, and we're left to wonder how well the other one goes. I think it's very important. Yeah.
They make a nice triangle.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and I think the fact that they're just doing a very amateur job, they're probably doing a very amateur job of it.
Yeah. Yep.
I love the way that the line comes out of his hat, sort of from his chest, the way it's line around the outside of
Yeah, yeah. And of course, there's a lot of other subtleties. The distinct texture in the hat, which you're making a feature, contrasts with sand that has no sharp edges. So that's really nice element as well. Next one. Oh yeah. So I've just been a bit crazy here. There was, normally I wouldn't explain what it is with my abstract stuff, but there was a metal fence that was all rusting and everything to the south of butting up to the library part of the building. And I just, now that I have a shake, I've decided that I'm only going to take soft pictures rather than having a tripod. So I exaggerated that one just to be a bit provocative, really. And the next one. So I'm not going to comment. Anyone else can if they want. Yeah. I called it suspended. Yes.
Yeah, it looks like the bones are just not quite there.
That's straight out of the camera. I didn't play with it at all. So again, I'm doing quite a lot in high key, and that's just how it came out. I won't tell you how many images I took to get that, but yeah. So I'm just, in my old age, just trying to do things that are a little bit provocative at times. So, yeah, yeah, couldn't I call it that? Okay, anything else?
Tim had a comment back about the person looking down on from the pier.
Yep.
He said it's more about the person drawing the sand portrait than the person looking down. Was his thought.
Right. Yep. Fair enough. Yeah.
To me, it was a story of two hats.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
When you take a high key like that, how'd you get it dark in the middle?
How did I don't know.
Well, you're supposed to be the expert now.
After years and years of doing talks on composition and exposure and everything else, I'm throwing it all to the wind, and I just play with the dials.
Yeah, but when you do a high key image, it's usually all the same.
It is, yeah.
Is it because it was darker? Oh, right. Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you've panned it on that one, have you, John? Yeah.
I think that's exactly it, because you're repeating the slightly dark element of the rail, because I must have actually managed to pan it almost dead straight. Plenty others didn't work, and that's probably because they weren't straight. Yeah, good.
Just one shot.
Good observation.
Twice.
Purely one shot.
It's not a multiple exposure.
No,
Okay.
no. It's a 1.3. One of my go-to shutter speeds is 1.3. So I don't want things to be too close to what they are in reality. I want them to get as abstract as I can. Is that the last one? Great. Well, it's 9:10. I was going to talk about, I think, can you just take a minute and I'll hook this up and then just flick through a few of my slides, not photos, but points I want to make. do you remember last year I went on and on about noticing? So that's a skill I think that's really important in photography. If you don't notice something in the first place, then you haven't got a photo. So the number of photos you get that you're happy with is totally relates to how well you have trained your eye to notice things that are a bit different or interesting. And so that's why I'm keen over the year to get you guys noticing things better. So I'm not going to hold you up much longer. I'll just cherry pick what I was going to talk about. Come on. It's not meant to be online. The second one. Commended.
See where it says recommended in the middle of the page? And then there's a file two.
The walkabout, there's the ones I want. I'm obviously getting the wrong one because I did this. I checked it after I'd done it. The D, you can see the D, the top one there, is the which I did it from my main D. I can't read. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yep. You take it. Yep. But somewhere I've got one that's actually on the on that computer. So I was just going to quickly go over noticing again and talk about how we can use the next walkabouts to contribute to that. We influence our images through various factors, as you know, such as light, colour, composition type things. And, oh great, thank you. I didn't want that to happen, I was sure it was not online. So I feel that it would be useful if we could improve our noticing and crafting skills. So as you've seen this from me so often before as a photographer, it's not what you look at that matters, but it's what you notice. So if you think about those showcase images we had, none of them were the same. So we weren't photographing the pier to its perfection. We were looking at things about the pier or the lights or other things there. And so, you know, I'm really thrilled how you're taking on board. You did it before, but I'm hoping that you'll find that even easier and quicker to find that. So, so as I say, to make better photos, you must get better at noticing. And so just very quickly to illustrate what I say all the time, this here, I was coming out of the library, public library, crossing the road, looked down, happened to have my camera for some other reason, and saw that stone stuck there. Now, that's invisible to thousands of people in Christchurch walking in front of the the library, but because I want photographs, I notice those sort of details. You will notice other details that of things that interest you. This was in Paris, and I saw the, and I was determined not to have photographs that were too much like everybody else's. So this is a little bit different. And I noticed, first of all, those 3 trees in a row there, and that they're all had, it gave us a sense of direction and movement in the photograph, so they were leaning to the right. And then the repetition of 3 leading to 1, all moving left to right, the direction. This was in Italy, and thought very typical of Italian style of just casual, probably not typical in colour, but just standing there casually with legs crossed. And you notice how the knee and the shin are roughly the same angle as the bollard there. But I also, of course, love the bright colours and the more neutral colour of the building. So it's just little things like you're walking along and stop, and I'd say to Jan, I'll catch you up. And so I usually only get a minute or 2 to take these images. I'm not travelling overseas now, just to be more careful with health. So I don't get these opportunities. But this was in London, and we'd walked over what's the century? No, the bridge. Thank you. And I'd seen these steps in this configuration when we walked over, and I thought there must be a photograph there that isn't just a record of the steps. And I saw that guy standing there, and I thought, I hope he stands there a bit longer, and then waited for something else, and then that woman started coming the other way. So it gave me the balance, the smaller legs because of the distance in the smaller area, and stronger in this part that's nearer to a little bit nearer to the camera. I can't remember whether they were actually meeting up or not, but the title I give it is Match Up ? Maybe they're going to get together, or maybe they're totally unrelated. This one, some of these you've seen before, but just quickly, what I noticed here, it was after the earthquake and when they were starting to build a bit. And as I walked past one site that didn't have the fence properly closed, so I could walk over and have a look at all the rusty reinforcing. But the story wasn't about, for me, I was looking for something about the reinforcing, and managed to find that triangular shape there. This was when I used to live in Richmond Hill before going to retirement village, and I walked up the hill to the Summit Road reasonably frequently, and it's a farm up there, and one day I saw that, and probably had walked past it several times before, but again, as I got a little bit better, as more experienced in my photography, it caught my eye. And if something catches my eye, I ask, what's the main thing here? And concentrate on that. This one I've also shown before, but we're in Venice, and we're in a small boutique hotel that had this tiny canal almost next to it. And we'd been there several days. I'd walked over that little bridge probably 20 or 30 times. But one time, just before we left, I saw that reflection coming down there and said to Jan, I'll see you back there in 5 minutes. Incredible wife she is. She puts up with my photography things. Another one, I was looking at the Louvre, and I've got a few others that I'm reasonably pleased with, but I thought everyone does the pyramid, but what happens if I make the pyramid almost the second most important thing? So you see the heavy building behind it. So it's there, it's in a context, but it's reasonably artistic presentation. This one, Paul, you were talking before about waiting for someone to come along at the right time. This is in Melbourne, the art gallery, and they used to, for at least 10 years, had these sculptures. I've forgotten the sculptor's name, but several of them in a row behind this entrance of glass entrance that has water coming down it. And I'd taken photographs every time I went, probably at least 10 times over about 6 years. And because I used to go over there on business every 6 months. And then one day I saw this girl walking from the other side and was lucky enough to get down quickly a bit closer to the glass and got her walking through. I say walking away. She was actually walking with the dad. You can just see the outline of Dad's shoulder, which I made it slightly even less obvious, so it didn't detract from the girl. So again, it's what I needed was someone to be walking. I hadn't realised that fully until I started to see some motion there. So my point is that I've tended to prime, because of my interest, prime my brain to pick out some of those sorts of things. And I talked about priming last year, and I'll just be 5 minutes more. And so you remember I talked about when we're thinking of buying a car, before we ever think of buying another car, we tend not to distinguish between cars. We just want to drive where we are safely. So it's only if something comes up where someone's not driving well, or we have a real envy for cars, like someone in the room here. And so what happens, of course, is that when we start thinking about it, we look online, or we have a friend that is getting a new car and you wonder about that, and so on. So all of a sudden, you are noticing a whole lot more of the car that you're becoming interested in on the road automatically. You haven't programmed, well, subconsciously you've programmed your mind to see that particular car. So what if we look at some aspects of photography and dwell on that for a little while, and then hopefully begin to see things related to that subject. So what I'm going to do is going forward and see how well it works. I won't keep doing it if it's boring you. Is a week before each walkabout, I'm going to email, on the email or on the website, I'm not sure which, some notes about the topic. So the next one's going to be on light, and I'll email some notes that you can, summary type notes, that you can look at and dwell on during that week. And I'll have some guidance about, for example, I'll say, now make sure, even if you have to write a note to yourself, that every morning when you first open the curtains, you note what the light is for that day. We tend to do it naturally anyway, but I just want to reinforce it. And then a number of other things, sort of homework, gentle homework, that you could do for that week. So when you arrive at 9:30 on the Sunday, and I'm going to give you 2 written tasks to do then, rather than me spend time talking and taking up photographing time, then you'll be primed to find interesting things relating to light. And you noticed I mentioned it quite a bit already tonight with the showcase, just to show how much it tells you about the photographs. So I was going to talk a bit more detail about that, but yeah, so I'll just skip ahead. So what I want to do is to...
John, we're not seeing anything. If you want to show us something.
Oh, right. Okay. So what will I hit on here? Presentation or?
Put it on the slideshow.
No, wait a minute. That's all right. I haven't got it on slideshow. Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, that's what I was just checking.
Oh, right. Slideshow.
There it is. There it is. Right.
Right?
And then you put in the presentation, right?
Yeah.
Slideshow from current slide.
That little button right down.
Yeah.
Current slide.
That's it. From, no, we want,
Go on, hit slideshow.
yeah,
There you
yep, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, so how to better use the walkabout to improve noticing. Yeah, so we want to keep remembering that all the time that we're going through. And then topics, as I started to say while I was waiting for this. So I'm going to pick some topics that I think help improve our noticing ability. So we start with light, the next one, and I haven't worked out the order of these others, but things like shape, composition principles, colour, texture, and so on. So there would be notes on each of those topics a week before the walkabout, and a little bit of homework, and then we would do that would be the priming that we'd do, and then be ready for the session. Then on Sunday, as I said, to maximize time photographing, I'll have some instructions on 2 tasks, and you can get straight into those and then get at least a couple of hours of photographing. I'll always be there if anyone wants to talk to me about ideas or problems or anything like that, but I won't spend time introducing things or anything like that too much, just to keep the chat down. So, and then, like we tended to do tonight, is talking about the idea of what the picture is about, and any mood or feeling that comes from it. So I think that's probably plenty, because 9:25. Are there any questions or comments about how I can handle the walkabout? I take criticism as feedback, so I'm always happy if someone says, I don't think that's working, John, or I think it could work better. I would be delighted if people did that, because it shows you care enough about what we're doing. Whereas if you don't say anything, I'm not sure whether you care or not.
Well, so far, I've been on every walk that you've done so far, and actually learned huge amounts.
Thank you. That's great. But if there's one session that most people didn't find helpful, tell me, please. I prefer it than just muttering to yourself. That one wasn't so good, was it? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, John. That was awesome. I can make one suggestion for a question that always works with John. Just look at him and say, why? That's all you have to do, and you'll get another half an hour. It's really good. Firstly, comment I want to make is, who do we really need judges? If we can sit around here and talk about our images and get so much out of that, I reckon that was really cool. I'm just going to leave it there and give us a brief reminder of what's happening next week. So first of all, Shirley is going to talk about the Laurie Thomas Winter School promo, so with all the details about that. It's a little bit different this year, so I recommend you watch that or come along and listen to it. We're doing MDC number 1, which was unique, next week, and the competition result for projected image number 1 and hand in for projected image number 2. Okay, thank you very much. See you next week.